Hey everyone, welcome back to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. The other day I spoke to you about doing the time to be a prime. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to be a prime boss, starting with step number 1. Hey you guys, before we get into this video, I just want to remind you, I know government contracting can be somewhat challenging, but don't forget you have Ask Michelle B. Just click on the link in the comment section to ask me a question. I will respond to you personally, and I will also put it out to the audience for everyone because most of the time we all have the same questions, or it's a question that's probably going to come up during your government contracting journey. Ask me anything you want to know anytime. And please don't forget to subscribe. Rule number 1 for being a prime versus a subcontractor. Stop depending on others to make your money. If you're going to be a subcontractor, do it for the experience and keep it moving. Get the experience and go on to the next job. Learn what you need to learn so that you can take that information and implement that information with you as the prime on the contract. Never let others control how and when you make your money. Number 1 rule. So let's take your first step to becoming a prime boss. Your first step is to remember the 3 P's: prime position, past performance, and profit. Prime position means you build a relationship with the government. It means you control the money that is paid from the contract, meaning the government is going to deposit into your account, not someone else's for them to distribute to you. If you're a subcontractor, you have to wait for people to pay you. And why is that a problem? Because so many small businesses get into these contracts with larger companies or people that know what they're doing, and they don't get their money timely. And 30 days is fine. That's normal. I understand that sometimes people convince you that government does not pay timely, but the rule of law and the regulation, and you can look it up in the FAR, says that when there are small businesses involved, you must pay them within 14 days. Even the government contractors themselves know that. So when you're dealing with other companies, you have to deal with all of their minutia. When you're the prime, the money goes into your bank account, and you need to make sure that you take care of your subcontractors. No waiting for your money. That's what prime position means. You have the authority, you are the decision maker, and you have the control. Past performance. Past performance as a subcontractor does not give you credit. You do not get past performance credit because most primes that you work with will not allow you to use their past performance as credit for a contract that you are trying to get as a prime. Number 1, you become a competitor, which is fine. I mean, that's just business. So they're not going to want to give you that credit in a lot of cases. But every once in a while, you'll have a prime that may give you a reference, and that could help. But don't expect to be a subcontractor and use that past performance and be surprised when you ask the prime and they say no. A lot of times they will make you sign something saying that you cannot use that performance with your other contracts, which tells you right there what they're up to. So as a prime, you can use your past performance when and how you need to. You won't need to depend on another prime because you're it. You are the prime. So to use your prime information on your own federal contracts is very important. Now, it is true that you don't need past performance right away. I've done it. I've won at least 3 contracts for clients with no past performance. Now, once you get that past performance, you don't want to mess it up. Your past performance is like gold. It's like money because once you get your first contract, if it's for under $50,000, then you can move on to $150,000. Then you can move on to $500,000. Sometimes some of the contracting officers will be bold enough to give you a $750,000 contract. So it doesn't always have to be stair steps. It depends on the agency. My client that I won for, he had no past performance, 35,000 to 200,000. I did that, and he had no past performance. So it can be done, but once you get it, you need to remember how valuable it is. And as a prime, you build your past performance to win other contracts. That's the most important thing you need to remember. That's why you want to be a prime. And contracting officers will give you an opportunity to be a prime. You don't need to beg other people for work. You get more and more experience, which makes your stock go up. So if you have one past performance account with the government, that's like gold. That gets you to the second one and the third one and the fourth one and the fifth one. And the next thing you know, you are doing the millions that you want to do. It could take you a year, it could take you 2 years. But once you start hitting it, it starts to move very quickly. Your last P is profits. As a prime, you retain more of the profit from every contract. And that's your goal because your profits start to pile up. You got 20,000 here that you earned from a contract, 5,000 there, another 30,000. What if you have a contract that is reoccurring for a year? That's ongoing, meaning you're making money every single month. Those are the types of contracts that you would love to have if you're in service, if you have a service business. So keep that in mind. This is not about a one-hit wonder. It is about a strategy. It's a long game, and you can do it for a minute if you want to. But if you're serious about this and you really want to build something and you want to have a client that can withstand COVID, pandemics, recessions, the government is it. So I remember telling all of these 8A companies, you better figure this out because while you have these 9 years, you have a gold mine. You need to figure out how to use this certification so that you can win over your 9 years. People wait, they wait, they wait, they never learn, and they never make it. This is why you only have 24% of all 8A companies that actually make 20 and 30 and some even $100 million with their 8A. But it's not just 8A. If you're any type of small business, you can do the same thing. So you need to learn this stuff because a lot of companies have been hit during this COVID, and it's not going to be better probably for another year and a half for a lot of businesses. When you're the prime and you price things right, you generate profit from each of the contracts. That's your goal. Then you have to understand how to use OPR, meaning when you can't do it yourself and you have to hire subcontractors while you're the prime, do it. Because using OPR, other people's money, or other people's resources, I should say, can help you get a job, a contract job, and complete the job without too much output. A lot of subcontractors don't mind being subcontractors. They actually like it. But that's not what I'm training you to do. I'm training you to be a prime. There are people that would rather be subcontractors because they're scared and they don't understand that it's better to be a prime. It's just because they don't know any better. It's what people teach them or tell them. Oh, the government is hard to work with. Oh, the government is this. Well, that's why only 1% of the million businesses that are in SAM are winning. Barely. The same people are winning over and over and over again. And it's not because they have favoritism. I know I don't have any favoritism, and I can win. I believe it, I make it happen, and I just go do it. You can do exactly the same thing. It's just that I'm teaching you to be a prime, so you're in charge. You don't need to finance the recreation of a product or service. If you can offer the service, fine. If you need to hire a subcontractor, that's just as well. You can make it happen. All you have to do is make sure that you understand your pricing and that you have some level of profitability in the contract offering to the government. That's it. Then you do that multiple times over and over and over. And the next thing you know, you've created a very profitable enterprise. You've created exactly what you envisioned. And you can do that in a year, you can do that in 2 years. But once you get your first contract, this is the biggest mistake businesses make. They're not planning for success. They plan to get a contract. You need to plan for success, meaning you need to expect to get that next contract. I told you, Jessica, I'm mentoring her, the young lady that I mentor for her staffing agency. She's put in for some contracts. We expect her to win. But I've talked to her already about what are you going to do when you win? How many employees do you need to bring in? We're going to have another discussion about that this week. Those things are important because she has to think about the administration side. She has to think about the management side. These are the things you have to think about as well. So if you're serious about this, get excited and just get ready to start doing it. Even if you have to stumble your way through it, you can win.